Okay, looks like we're live. Hello, hello, hello. So let me know if you're watching live or in recording and where you're watching from. I am, as usual, grabbing my link and posting it in the website. Okay, well, in fact, I grabbed the link to upcoming webinar on Healthy You in 2022, and it is in the description. And what I'm going to do is to share this live inside of our group, Friends in Health. So Friends in Health is for your daily motivation and inspiration in your wellness journey. So we're still working on getting the group active and going. So if you have some ideas, what you need, how to support you, let us know. So here I am, share to a group. All right. And today we're going to talk about the name I chose, Foods for Healthy You in 2022 and beyond and belong to, I would say, Foods for Life, honestly. So let's jump into the conversation. The reason I chose this topic, besides that I am going from in the perspective of all three pillars, we're talking about nutritional pillar, we're talking about fitness pillar, we're talking about the power of mindset pillar. So all these pillars are really helpful for us to be our best version, the healthiest version that we can be. And now we're all gearing towards 2022 and in fact beyond. I actually want to invite us to look at this upcoming 2022 is the beginning of the rest of your life. What can you do starting today, now, to adjust and upgrade your life, your health, so you can be your best for the rest of your life? Not just 1 year, not just 1 month, not just 1 week. I know most of us are going to do that, but just a few of us, this unique percentage of 2, I believe, percent out of 100. Please, I invite you to be that percentage who takes it on and makes adjustments, not the quick fix, but for the rest of your life. And we're going to start with a very short period of 1 year. Whoa, maybe just today. Let's start today. And the webinar, I posted the link in the description, is Healthy You in 2022 and beyond, in fact. So in that webinar, we're going to look at all three pillars. And today we're going to focus on nutrition for life, or food for life, food for 2022 and beyond. And by the way, somebody commented on my jacket today. This jacket is my first ever warm jacket that I got when I was, I think, a teenager. And since then, I always almost never wear, but today it feels just good to wear this. Okay, and a good Christmas color, right? All right, folks. And in fact, it's interesting, when I was writing an email, a couple of emails. One was about a week and a half ago, talking about rewriting my journey. Hey, come on and read that email. You can subscribe through coachingbynadia.com/newsletter. And last Sunday, I connected my life journey with really looking at helping my physical and mental, emotional body to go through life challenges. And I'm going to be doing this again and again and again. I'm not going to be waiting, well, maybe sometimes, but the general concept, what I want to invite myself and all of us, is not to wait for another time or a better month or better opportunity or better times, but actually to take care of our body now, because it's like a vehicle. You can't go on the journey with empty tank. Or why are we putting gas in our vehicles and not in our bodies? Please explain. So in fact, let's talk about the fuel today. So we talk about nutrition. And in fact, I remember 1 year ago, my journey has been for about 13 years ago, when I was writing the script for this conversation, I thought, okay, if I hadn't taken care of my body with good nutrition, like good nutrition for me, for my body, what would I feel? Well, it's stress, first of all, right? Almost like whatever happening in life, you're under stress, whether it's a lot of work to do or personal transition or family visiting, it's stressful. In fact, for my body, when it's under stress, my tummy hurts. I'm curious if you actually noticed how your body is responding to stress. Lack of energy. I'm reading my own list here. In fact, I know I'm under stress and I go work out, and because I try to keep my stress out, I often will hurt myself to the point that I will have to go to chiropractor once a week, and he will get upset at me. What are you doing in the gym? So yes, and they mind-wise really, like, the head is really cloudy. Oh yes, and irritation emotionally. So this list can go a long way. And I decided that one of the things I can do for myself, and that's what we're going to focus on today, is what does my body need? Not want. We're going to talk about wanting too, but more about all this we're going to talk in the webinar. So again, please register. It's in the description, Healthy You in 2022. But what does my body need? And so I'm going to walk you through a very quick structure, and I can't really give that many details because I'm going to be here for a very long time, and that's what the webinar is, 45 minutes. But in that 45 minutes, we're going to cover all three pillars. Today, we're just covering the nutritional piece. But really, the question number one is, what does my body need? And I want to invite us to look at, I have to give my body everything the body needs naturally, as natural as possible. So the body has capacity to heal itself, or to give myself the result that I want to feel. For me, it was energy, clarity, and if nothing else, just I know I'm feeding my body well when I go under stress. In fact, greens is where I default. And it's been for so long that I don't mind defaulting on greens any day, any type of my period of my life. So it's really choosing those foods that I can default to, the healthy foods that I can default to, whether I'm under stress or not. And that's my choice for my body. Let's go through some of these concepts real quick. And I'm going to separate them into three concepts, because very often, most of the time, we think about, what do I eat? And it's great. In fact, I was just recently asked, what I go shopping for? But what we eat is very super important and necessary. But in fact, from us as health coaches point, we're actually looking at what we eat is only 20% of our success. And let me explain to you why. Because the other 80% is who we are being while we're eating and how we are eating. To give you a quick example, if I'm under stress or I've had a really long day, guess what we tend to have for our meal intake? Something that makes us feel good, sweet, something that makes my body and my tongue pleased, like a party in my mouth, one of my clients said. We default to food that we know are not beneficial for us. It's a lot of it is based on who we are being and how we eat versus to what we eat. In fact, I'm going to grab this concept really quick right now. We will focus on what to eat in our webinar as well, but who we are being and how to eat is so crucially important. So the number one question, I did not put it in my script, but the number one question I want us to ask when we start looking at our nutrition is and the food craving. So when I crave for the certain food that I know My mind tells me, hey, my dear, nope, this is not good for you. This is the perfect opportunity to ask a question. What am I really craving for when I crave this food? So, so important. What am I craving for when I crave this food? Very often it's our emotional craving. I'm craving for something else. Relaxation, peace, recognition, love, pleasure. It's not the body, not the physical body, not the tummy that is craving for food. That's 80% of what we eat is who we are being. So mindful eating is really important. Exercising this muscle of asking a question is so important. In fact, we focus on this for a very long time, whether it's one-on-one coaching or we do our group coaching on this particular question. So mindful eating becomes a very number one crucial habit we want to build. So mindful eating can also be from the question to simply tracking your food. Again, we are not even talking about what to eat. We can, but who we are being. Tracking can be using your cell phone, smart app, using paper tracker. Doesn't really matter. But what it creates is a mindfulness. Like, aha, wow, I didn't know I ate that much or that much of this. Or simply being aware what goes through our lips. Also, we're focusing on slowing down. When we are on the rush, on the go, we chew like 3 times and swallow it. But the first step of digestion is actually in our mouth. The saliva is helping us break down the food. So by slowing down, we're taking deep breaths. We are meditating on the food. I call it fooditating. So important. In fact, one of our sessions is when you lose hope, losing weight. This is the thing to do, is to slow down and chew. That taps into the next step of mindful eating, is really portion control. When you chew slow, longer, you track, mindful, you're asking questions, you actually start controlling how much you eat. So with that, we are focusing on hunger fullness scale. Water comes into play. How much water do we drink? Am I really hungry or I'm just thirsty? Okay. And with that said, how much to eat? What's beneficial for weight loss is tracking your calories, knowing that if you want to lose weight, you got to eat less. Approximately 1 pound a week equals 500 calories less a day. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, not to give you the entire webinar because it will not be fair. This is just a tiny little piece of food for life, or food for 2022 and beyond. Is really honoring your body with food. And today we covered just a little bit of who you're being while eating, but it's 80% of your success in nutrition. We will also in the webinar cover who you're being in more details. We will cover how to eat, and we will cover what to eat. So those elements will be covered in the webinar, Healthy You in 2022. In the description, you will see the registration, and we will also cover the mindset and fitness. And those 3 pillars will be covered from the steps of little gritty details, but also the step of, I will ask you to reevaluate what you already do, so you can make those adjustments for 2022. We will reevaluate, we will start making adjustments, kind of a plan, and we will look at, okay, what do I need to have in order to be consistent? If you're signing up for my emails, you're going to receive consistency email very soon, but consistency is everything. It helps us create healthy habits, and we do it together as a group. which helps us with keeping those daily accountabilities for ourselves and with others. So consistency. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope this was helpful to start this conversation. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Otherwise, I will look forward to see you in the webinar, and I'll pop in one more time before the webinar. The webinar will be on December 18th, Saturday, 11 a.m. And again, registration is in the description, or you can just go to my website, coachingbynadia.com/events. Let me know how this resonated with you, with just one tiny little piece that you would like to share in the comments. I am reading all of them and responding accordingly. Okay, have a great week. And remember to love your body through daily choices. And what's important is who you're being while you're eating.